What if I told you that at 45 years old, when my hairline was disappearing, my confidence was collapsing, and I truly believed it was too late? For me, I was completely wrong. What if the thinning wasn't permanent doom, but a signal? And what if the simple changes I made over the next year slowly brought my hair back thicker, stronger, and healthier than it had been in years? At 45, I remember standing under harsh bathroom lighting, tilting my head forward, trying to convince myself that it wasn't getting worse. But the truth was obvious. My temples had receded, the crown was thinning. Every time I showered, strands collected in my hands. Every time I styled my hair, I noticed more scalp than before. And like many people in their 40s, I told myself the same story. It's genetics, it's age, it's over. But here's what I later learned. Hair thinning at 45 is common, yes. But common does not mean untreatable. The biggest mistake most people make is assuming hair loss has only one cause. In reality, it's usually a combination of hormones, inflammation, blood flow, nutrient status, stress levels, and scalp health. When I stopped looking for a miracle product and started addressing the root causes step by step, everything changed. Let me explain what was actually happening. By the time we reach our 40s, especially for men, but also for many women, a hormone called DHT, dihydrotestosterone, becomes more influential in the scalp. DHT binds to hair follicles and gradually shrinks them. This process is called miniaturization. The hair doesn't disappear overnight. It becomes thinner, shorter, weaker, until eventually it stops growing altogether. But here's the part most people don't understand. DHT is only part of the story. Inflammation in the scalp can make follicles even more sensitive to DHT. Poor blood circulation can starve follicles of oxygen and nutrients. Chronic stress can push hair prematurely into the shedding phase. Nutrient deficiencies can weaken the hair shaft itself. At 45, I wasn't just aging. I was inflamed, stressed, undernourished in certain micronutrients, and neglecting my scalp. The turning point came when I stopped asking, how do I regrow hair fast? And started asking, what does a healthy hair follicle actually need to thrive? Hair follicles are tiny organs. They require energy, oxygen, amino acids, minerals, hormonal balance, and low inflammation. If even one of these factors is off for long enough, thinning begins. So I built a simple system around 5 pillars. First, I addressed scalp health and circulation. Most people shampoo and condition, but they never think about the scalp as living tissue. Over time, product buildup, excess sebum, dead skin cells, and inflammation create a poor environment for growth. I began massaging my scalp for 5 minutes daily. Nothing fancy, just firm circular pressure with my fingertips. This increases blood flow to the follicles. Research shows improved circulation helps deliver oxygen and nutrients, and mechanical stimulation can encourage follicles to remain in the growth phase longer. I also switched to a gentle, sulfate-free shampoo and began washing based on my scalp type instead of a fixed schedule. For me, that meant every other day. Keeping the scalp clean but not stripped was crucial. Within 2 months, shedding slowed. That was the first sign something was working. Second, I corrected nutrient deficiencies. Hair is primarily made of keratin, a protein, but protein alone isn't enough. Hair growth requires iron, zinc, vitamin D, B vitamins, and essential fatty acids. After testing, I discovered my vitamin D was low and my ferritin, which reflects iron storage, was borderline. Vitamin D plays a direct role in the hair growth cycle. Low levels are linked to increased shedding. Iron is critical for oxygen transport to the follicle. Without adequate oxygen, growth slows. I began safely supplementing under medical guidance and improved my diet, more lean protein, eggs, fatty fish, leafy greens, nuts, seeds. Within 3 to 4 months, I noticed not just less shedding, but tiny baby hairs appearing near my temples. That was something I hadn't seen in years. Third, I reduced chronic stress. At 45, life is busy, work, family responsibilities. But chronic stress elevates cortisol. High cortisol disrupts the hair cycle and can push follicles into the telogen, or shedding, phase prematurely. This condition is known as telogen effluvium. I didn't quit my job or move to a mountain. I did something much simpler. I started sleeping 7 to 8 hours consistently. I reduced late night screen exposure. I began walking daily in sunlight. I practiced slow breathing for 5 minutes before bed. Within weeks, I felt calmer. Within months, shedding decreased further. Fourth, I addressed DHT intelligently. Now, let's talk honestly. If you have genetic pattern hair loss, DHT sensitivity matters. Some people choose medications like minoxidil or finasteride under medical supervision. These can be effective and are well studied. But they're not the only pieces of the puzzle. Natural strategies that may support hormonal balance include maintaining healthy body fat levels, strength training, reducing insulin resistance, and ensuring adequate zinc intake. Excess insulin and chronic inflammation can increase androgen activity in the scalp. When I improved my metabolic health, lifting weights 3 times per week and improving my diet, I wasn't just building muscle. I was stabilizing hormones. Fifth, I committed to consistency. Hair grows slowly, on average about ½ an inch per month. That means real change takes time. Many people quit after 6 weeks because they don't see dramatic results. But hair cycles last months. You have to stay consistent for at least 3 to 6 months before judging results. At month 3, shedding slowed significantly. At month 6, my crown looked denser. At month 9, my barber asked if I had done something different. At month 12, I could confidently say my hair was fuller than it had been in years. Now let me be clear. This wasn't magic. I didn't reverse time. I optimized biology. If your follicles are completely dead and scarred, regrowth is unlikely. But if they are miniaturized, thinner, weaker, but still alive, they can often recover when the environment improves. The key lesson I learned is this hair loss at 45 is often a signal of systemic imbalance. Fix the internal environment, improve the scalp ecosystem, reduce inflammation, stabilize hormones, support nutrients, and the body often responds. And here's something important. Confidence didn't return only because my hair thickened. It returned because I took control of my health. The hair was a reflection of deeper improvements. If you're looking in the mirror right now feeling discouraged, understand this: you are not powerless. But you must be patient. You must think long term. And you must treat hair growth like a health journey, not a cosmetic emergency. Because once you understand the science behind follicles, hormones, stress, and nutrition, you stop chasing miracle oils and start rebuilding from the inside out.